All right, we are going to be installing these Tallboy Harley Davidson handlebars. They're going to be going on to the 2018 Harley Davidson Sportster 48 XL 1200X bike. Right now we got the stock bars on there, little to no rise. So these will give the bike a little lift. Start by saying that I tried to do this earlier and ran into the issue that my front brake line was not long enough. So I did just get done replacing that front brake line. Didn't make a video on that because there's plenty of videos on how to do that online already. But just know if you do decide to replace these stock bars on a Sportster with the Harley Davidson Tallboy bars, you will need just a longer brake line. They run about 80 bucks. I'll put the link for this one, LA Choppers, in the description of the video. As far as tools go, we're gonna need 2 Torx bits. We're gonna need a T25 and a T27 Torx bit. And you're gonna want either a socket wrench or just a handheld one. This will make things a little bit easier. This will keep you from stripping bolts out. So both pros and cons there. And we'll get started. Before starting this install, it is recommended that you take some towels, just cover up the paint, speedometer, things you care about not getting scratched up. All right, we'll go ahead and get started with our T27 Torx bit. And we're going to take off the clutch. Now we're gonna go ahead and put on our T25. This one's a little smaller. This is going to be for your controls. All right, now that that's all loosened, you can take these apart. I like to put the housing back together and return the bolts just so everything's in one piece and nothing goes running away on you. Now those can both just dangle there while you move on to the next side. I'm gonna go ahead and leave on our T25 Torx bit and remove the controls.
Switch back to our T27.
And on the front brake right hand side, they will have this little clamp plastic washer as well as a metal washer. You're going to want to make sure to save both of those.
Again, same thing, you can just let these hang. This one will sit inside of throttle cables, so it may be snagged up for just a second. Now we're going to come around this side.
And we're just going to slip the throttle off. This method is a lot easier as it requires no disassembling of the actual throttle cable. All right, now same as the other side. I'm going to slip the controls back on.
And throw the bolts back in.
All right, now that we got the left and right hand controls both off and free hanging here on both sides, we're gonna move to these bolts here below the speedometer. There's gonna be 4 of them there. And for this, you're gonna actually need Allen keys. This is gonna be a 1/4 size. All right, now that those are all pulled off, go ahead and remove the speedometer and the handlebars and set your speedometer aside. Bars down. This is a good time to cover the speedometer. Now for getting ready to install the new bars, I like to put a little Loctite on all these nuts that we just took off. All right, now for putting on the new bars, the next trick is if you don't plan on extending your throttle cables or taking apart your throttle housing, this is the trick to do. So you're gonna wanna snake on your throttle now before attaching the bars. And that'll prevent you from having to disassemble it again. All right, so now that we got that there, sneak around this side. Go ahead and put our speedometer housing back on.
And begin lightly threading in each of these bolts.
So now is the point when we got them on there just loosely to where you want to sit on the bike and see what feels best for your riding position. Too high, too low, just right. For me, that right there feels about perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten them down there. All right, now back to the control installs. We're gonna go back to our T25 Torx bit, and we're gonna have to loosen this housing here of the throttle in order to get our front brake to align with the inside of this housing here. So again, one screw just fell out there, but I'll go ahead and take the other one out.
And that is going to allow us to come
through here, hook our front brake kind of pieces right in there together, like so, and then put our housing right back over the top here to hold everything together.
Again, the same T25 screws are going to go back in the throttle housing.
All right, now those on, you want to be really careful not to over tighten these T25 throttles, because if you do even a little bit, your throttle will stick. So make sure to function test your throttle to make sure it's not sticking. If it is, likely your throttle housing is too tight. That all feels good. All right, now we are going to find the other half to the front brake housing, swap our T25 with our T27. Come back around. That's gonna go right in there just like that. All right, now that those are in, go ahead and do another function test to make sure the brake lever is where you like it. So that's a little high for me right now. So before I tighten it all the way, just gonna move those down just a bit there. So your thumb's where you like it, your brake's where you like it. And once you're good there, go ahead and tighten those T27s down.
T27's down. Nice and snug. Once you get those snug, again, function check your throttle, make sure that's not sticking. Harley Davidson does in the manual have torque specs for all of these bolts here. I personally don't use them, I just do it till they're snug and never had a problem with that. But to each their own.
All right, now for the left-hand side controls. For these, I like to throw the grip on first just to know exactly where that clutch lever is gonna go. I went with these Vans Fault grips. Do note that with grips, one is a little larger on the interior. The larger one is for the throttle tube. The skinnier diameter one is for the left-hand side. So this is gonna make your life a whole lot easier if you have a little bit of WD-40. Go ahead and spray a healthy amount of that in there. And then you can pour some over the bar as well. And that will allow for a quick and easy slip on of your grip. So now that you have your grip on, you know exactly where your left side clutch housing is going to sit. Go ahead and take these two T25 Torx bit bolts out of your left-hand housing so it can come apart. And just like the right side brake housing, it does have a specific way it fits together, which clamps in your clutch. So you're gonna want to install this first.
Bring your clutch up to it, and the clutch will clip in. It is a little tight there with not an extended clutch cable, but we're going to go ahead and thread in our T25 Torx bits, bolts, holding the housing together.
All right, now that we got that on there, we're gonna grab our clutch housing here. Again, we're gonna have to switch to our T27 Torx bit for this side, just like the other side.
And thread these down. I just get those in kind of like the other side, just snug.
Make sure that you like the position of the clutch on the bike. All right, now for the right-hand side grip. Not pictured in this video, I did just take a razor blade and slice down this just to pull off the old grip. Super easy, no need for an explanation there. Again, kind of same thing as the other side. On the larger diameter grip here, little WD-40. Get it rinsed around in there, drip some over the grip. Wipe off the excess and slip it right on. All right, last but not least, throw your key in. Make sure your brights work and your hazards are giving good signals. just to ensure no wires were pinched. After that, you are all installed.